What's going on, guys? Connor Wells here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I hope you had an amazing Christmas, an incredible New Year, and I hope you're motivated and ready to absolutely crush 2024. This is the year for creatives. Let's freaking get it. Now, as somebody who runs a photography and videography podcast production business, you deal with a lot of clients. You deal with them obviously posting the photos and the videos that you've made for them. Today we're talking about Instagram filters. Now, one of the worst things a client can do to your photo is slap a fucking Instagram filter on it. It's the worst thing. It's a personal insult. It's an actual personal insult. I was scrolling through Instagram the other day and I was about to post a photo and I was about to go and sharpen my photo in the editing tool. Little tip there, sharpen your photo in the Instagram editing feature because Instagram's going to compress your photo. If you sharpen it, it will obviously get posted a lot sharper rather than being all soft and mushy. And I scrolled across the Instagram filters and there's some new ones. So I thought it would be a brilliant idea to actually see, are Instagram filters really that bad? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we're going to find out in today's video. Do hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. That would mean the absolute world to me. Let's get into it. So I have got 3 photos that we're going to go through today. I've got 3 photos on my phone. These are all JPEGs. They're not RAWs. I've got a self-portrait I did here. I'm going to show you the edit of this photo as well, but we got a self-portrait here, literally just me stood at my desk, JPEG, no changes done whatsoever to this photo. We've got a can of Sneak. Sneak is my favorite energy and hydration drink. I drink this pretty much every single day. It keeps me hydrated and energized when I'm out on shoots or if I'm in the lab here editing. This flavor here is Sneak Hydrate. It's the caffeine-free version, and I love this. I drink this in the evenings. It's the electric mango flavor. I love it. If you want to check out Sneak for yourself, I've got a link down below. So yeah, we got a can of Sneak, and then I've got a photo from my last shoot of 2023. That was for a chicken shop. One of my clients, an amazing wing. Oh, it's making me really hungry. Again, this is literally just the JPEG straight out of camera shot on my Sony a7 IV. So let's run these through Instagram filters and see, are they really that bad? Right, so we got Instagram open. Let's run the self-portrait in. So this is the first photo. Yeah, pretty standard. This is the edit I did with that photo. Again, I didn't really do too much to this edit, literally just warmed it up and just gave it a little bit of a vibe to it. So there you go, before and the after of the actual edit that I did in Lightroom. So let's get that all cropped and let's see what an Instagram filter is going to do to this photo. So as you can see, there are a whole bunch of new Instagram filters. If we scroll all the way to the end, there's like all the really bad ones like they used to have, like Lo-Fi, Inkwell. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too far off. Then there's this. I hate that. I hate that with a passion. I don't like that. That's way too cool. That is just horrific. Not a fan. Rise, no, don't like that. So let's go all the way to the start. So we've got Fade. Okay, that's not too offensive. I'm not too angry at that. Fade Warm. That's not too dissimilar to what I did my edit like. So let's compare Fade Warm. You know, I've obviously got a little bit more contrast in my edit. I prefer a little bit more of a contrasty look, but Fade Warm, not too bad. Fade Cool, don't like that. There's Simple, those blacks are way too crushed, and along with the shadows as well, not a fan of that. Let's have a little scroll across. Boost, ugh, not a fan of that at all, don't like that. Boost Warm, again, don't like. Boost Cool, okay, all of the Boost ones, don't like. Graphite, no, that just looks like a standard Instagram filter that we have always grown to love. Hate. Let's have a look. Emerald, oh goodness me, no, not at all. Midnight, no. Grainy, that's subtle. I don't mind that. That's not bad at all, actually. It literally just warms it up just slightly warms it up. We got Gritty here. That adds like some grain to the photo. A lot of grain. That really does add grain to the photo. Goodness me, crushes the exposure. Let's see what Halo's like. Wow, Halo I quite like Halo. It's just a simple edit, really. I'm not opposed to that. Let's move on to Color Leak. Now, this is definitely a new one. I've not seen this at all. That's kind of cool. I could crush it all the way. Obviously, leave it on 50%. Color Leak isn't too bad. I think that's quite cool. It looks like a Photoshop overlay, like light leaks. Zoom blur, cool effect, but I wouldn't use that. Handheld, that's quite trippy. If you like the handheld look, vintage film, shutter blur kind of thing, that's pretty cool. Moire, that's sort of like a VHS kind of thing. I wouldn't use that. Low res. Wide angle. Oh my god, what the is that? No to wavy. Paris, the Paris filter, everyone knows the Paris filter. That seems a little bit more subtle these days. It just makes it ever so slightly cooler, I think. And then we got the original ones like Abu Dhabi, Melbourne, Oslo. Oslo's not too bad. Okay, I'll give credit. Oslo is not too bad. Overall, I mean, there's still quite a few bad Instagram filters there, but if I had to choose one, it would probably be like Halo, because that's quite subtle, Color Leak, and then maybe Grainy. Again, there's not much difference in them, but that's just sort of like my vibe. Simple Warm is actually not too bad as well. And Fade Warm. Actually, I quite like Fade Warm. Before we move on, you may notice I am using a podcasting mic. That's because I have a podcast. My podcast is called The Creative Caffeine Podcast. I chat all things business, creating in the photo and video and editing space, giving you tips and advice, motivation. I also get guests on. We record those through Riverside, which is basically like Zoom on steroids. Riverside is the only platform I would use to record a remote podcast. They've got some fantastic features like AI show notes, AI clips. If I've recorded a episode literally on my camera, I can edit it all up, upload it to Riverside, and it will generate show notes for you. It will generate AI clips as well. So if I want to use them and subtitle them in Riverside to promote the show, I can do that. It's absolutely fantastic. You get 4K quality video recording and also audio recording that is absolutely top notch with zero compression. I've got a link below to check out Riverside. I highly recommend it if you are recording remote podcasts. So let's move on to, let's go with the Chicken George photo. So this is the edit I did. So nothing too drastic, just literally like brightening it up. Nice and simple. You don't want to take away or go too drastic with the colors when it comes to food. So let's bring that in. Fade. Okay, not a fan of that. It doesn't really suit food kind of stuff. Simple. That's pretty much like what I did with my initial edit, but it's just a little bit darker. I preferred it a little bit like brighter. You got Fade Warm, Simple Warm, sorry. Okay, it's not too bad. I don't like Simple Cool. It just makes everything look a little bit off, in my opinion. Boost, okay, that's cool. It's literally just like a simple, it's like pressing auto on Lightroom. Boost Cool is horrific. Boost Warm, don't like that at all. Graphite doesn't work. Hyper, Jesus, that is saturated. But if I dial that back, I think that could be usable. So yeah, again, there's a select few there that I may use, like simple Warm and Boost, but really Boost dialed back to maybe like 20%, maybe 25%. Again, it can be a little bit overpowering. So let's move on to the Can of Sneak. That is the JPEG, and this I couldn't find the original photo. So this is like a different angle, but this is sort of like the look I went for. Quite contrasty and a good bit of saturation to really sort of highlight the pinks and yellows in this photo. Also, what are you rating? I've got a new desk. It's a standing desk. I'm a big fan. Obviously, I'm not standing right now, but we move. So let's frame this up. It's obviously a little bit wonky because obviously this is just a JPEG. I've not done anything to these photos. And let's bring it in. Fade. Interesting. I wouldn't personally use it, but it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. Warm, I don't think fits this photo. Simple, that's quite cool, but the colors seem a little, they could be a little bit more saturated for what I was going for with this shoot. Simple cool, again, doesn't work. Simple warm doesn't work on this. Boost is, I don't know, it's a little bit too yellow. But boost warm, even more yellow. Boost cool doesn't work. Hyper, now hyper on this case does work quite well, I think. That brings out the pinks, brings out the yellows of this can. That's a big vibe, big happy with that. Grainy doesn't suit. Halo, that looks cool. It sort of gives it like a, yeah, like interesting, like halation kind of thing. I think that's a word, I don't know. Yeah, to give that light a bit of diffusion. I would use that. If you look right here at the raspberry lemonade text, it gives it like a really cool outline. Color leak. I really like the color leak filter. It's really cool. You know, you could dial it all the way in. Again, that's a little bit too saturated, but I find, you know, the sweet spot is about there. That looks really cool. I would post that. I'm happy with that. I quite like that. Hudson, yeah, I could vibe with that. A little bit less contrasty. Valencia, no. Lots lo-fi. Yeah, lo-fi I can get behind. I quite like lo-fi. That's quite cool. It dumbs the background down a little bit. It brings the exposure down, but also the can looks a little bit more prominent. You know, there's a little bit more background separation there. I don't know why, but I dig lo-fi. That's quite cool. You can bring that all the way up, darkens the desk, but also, yeah, the can just looks a little bit more prominent there, whereas there, just out in the JPEG, it doesn't stand out too much. Interesting. This has been really interesting to see. So there we have it. I've gone through 3 photos, a portrait, food shoot, and a product photo, run them through some Instagram filters, and yeah, there are some actually okay ones there. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna, you know, edit all of my photos in Instagram now, but it'll be quite interesting to see if I post a photo, if anybody would actually notice that it's not, you know, a Lightroom preset that I've used, or, you know, it's not been edited in Photoshop and I've used an Instagram filter. That would be quite interesting. So there we go, guys. Instagram filters are not all bad. I'm not saying they're all good, but they're not all bad. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see another one like this, let me know in the comments below. And if you're new around here, please do hit the subscribe button. That would mean the absolute world to me. Have a fantastic rest of the day, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.